Let me ask you something. When something goes wrong in your life, a deal falls through, a relationship breaks down, your income stalls, what's the first question that you ask? Most people ask, why is this happening to me? You see, controllers ask a different question. What is my system producing that's causing this result? What in my system is producing this result? You see, those two questions come from completely different identities. And that identity difference, that's what I want to talk about today. Get out your notepad, get out your pen, because I'm going to give you some golden nuggets that if you'll just follow it, it'll make sense. And that's the first one. For the last 8 weeks, the Mind Force Insider and the Forge has been running a mental model series. 7 models, one per week. Inversion, first principles, the flywheel, second order thinking, the forcing function, circle of competence, regret minimization. Each one was a piece. This week is what they've been building towards. The operator's lens, right? What do you see? The model that puts it all together. And really, it's the player versus the operator distinction. And here's the distinction that matters most. A player responds to the board as it exists. They see the current conditions and they react to it. They optimize within the rules that they were given. Plain and simple. They measure success by how well they navigate the situation in front of them. Most people, even high-performing, disciplined, intelligent people, they're operating as players. Not because they lack the capability, because nobody handed them the operator's lens. An operator sees the same board, but they ask different questions. And there's one thing that I always stress, and with everyone that I coach, it's the questions that you ask, and it's the questions that you ask yourself that matter most. Who designed this board? What rules govern it? Can those rules be changed? Can I step outside this game entirely and design a better one? You see, that's not arrogance. It's not entitlement. It's architecture. And here's what makes this week different from the other 7. The operator's lens isn't a new model to apply. It's the recognition that you've already been applying it. Every model we ran was training one specific skill. The ability to step out the current situation and look at it as a complete system. Let me show you what I mean. We talked about inversion thinking. You stopped asking how to succeed and started asking what would guarantee failure. That's an operator's move. You stepped outside the goal and you looked at the system that produces it. It's something very rare, but again, a lot of these things are conscious competence, and then they have to become unconscious competence. First principles, you stripped the inherited assumptions to find what's actually true. You see, that's an operator move. You stopped running someone else's design and started building from bedrock. And if you don't remember all of the weeks, just go back to the weeks, the emails. And if you're a Forge member, you're going to see all the frameworks that I put together for you. It's quite extensive. And if you're not a member of either, just make a comment, send me a DM, send me an email, whatever the case might be, and we'll get that information for you, because this could be the difference between you succeeding and excelling and not. Very simple. Okay. And then we had the flywheel. You stopped reacting to how you feel today and started managing the inputs that determine how you'll feel tomorrow. That's an operator move. You shifted from output focused to system focus. So even if you are in a situation, or if you've run into a situation that causes you to have some type of trepidation, some type of trauma, that you have a system in place to get through that. And that's really the key. Forcing function. You stopped waiting for pressure to arrive and started designing exactly how you work with it. You see that again, operator move. You took control of the variables that most people leave to chance. Circle of competence. You stopped chasing every opportunity and you started filtering through your actual zone. That's an operator move. You identified where your system produces leverage and where it produces leak. And then regret minimization. You stopped planning forward from present confusion and started planning backward from future clarity. That's an operator move. You use the future version of yourself to design the present one. You see, if you can't cascade into the future who you are, then more than likely you're going to stay where you are. 7 moves, one direction, all of them pointing at the same identity. Here's how the operator's lens works in practice. 3 questions, apply them to any situation. And again, get out your pad and paper and write these down. Question number 1. Okay. What system is producing, please excuse if my spelling or writing is not that great, we'll blame it on the pens, it's not why this is happening, it's what specific inputs are generating this specific output. And when you do that, you take responsibility, become accountable to what's going on. Number 2, did I design this system or inherit? So in other words, did you design the system that is getting that result, or was it inherited based on your family, teachers, coaches, people you worked with? Very, very important. Most systems people run were handed to them. Family patterns, cultural defaults. Nobody designed them intentionally, and they need to be designed intentionally. And then question 3, if I were designing this from scratch, if I were designing from scratch, what would I change? See, that's an operator move. That's an operator move. The gap between your answer and your current reality. That's your design brief. Write these down. You see, you run those 3 questions on your mindset patterns, your vitality inputs, your prosperity structure, and you'll see something that you could potentially not have seen before. You'll see the architecture, and the architecture is important. And if you take a look at it, if you take a look at that architecture that I've put on the screen, it's the three tectonic shifts: mindset, vitality, prosperity. They're integrated into the system. You can't avoid them. They're every aspect of your life. And if you're not aware of that, you need to dive deep into each one of those. Now, here's the identity, the shift that happens when the operator's lens is fully installed. You stop asking, what should I do next? You start asking, what system am I running? And is it the one that I designed? Those are completely different people. The first person is navigating their life. The second person is designing their life. Totally different. And if you look at, and this is why I encourage everyone that I coach, everyone that I work with, everyone I mentor, and I was taught this, it's not like any of these things that I am speaking about are things that I created. These are things that were handed down to me from my mentors, from their mentors. And they worked for many, many people throughout time. And here's what I know after 20 years, over 20 years, more than 20 years of coaching and mentoring people, is the people who change their lives don't do it by trying harder inside the same system. They do it by stepping outside of the system. Plain and simple. I wanted to finish my thought when I was telling you that before, is that when you step outside the box, right? So if this is the box and you're inside it, and it's going to have limitations. It's when you get outside of the box that you can grow and break through. Bottom line. Look up and read autobiographies and stories about entrepreneurs, successful people, great people. You don't have to agree with everything that somebody does in order to learn from them. But you can learn from everyone. That's not really about intelligence. It's not about work ethic. It's about having the lens to see what most people can't. And if you've never had that experience with what other people do, then you just don't have it. Now, you've been building that lens for 8 weeks. Now, if this series really connected with you, if the models landed, the protocols produced results, the lens is actually installed and it's running. There is a next step that I want to tell you about. I call it C3. It's part of the Mach system. Let's write that down. Mach, M-A-C-H. That's speed. That's speed. Called Mach C3. The command and control core. It's the 12-week architecture. 12 weeks. You'll achieve more in 12 weeks than most will achieve in 12 months. Is that something that intrigues you? Because if it is, then you need to contact me. And I'll show you exactly what that means. But I want you to understand these points. You've been through the 8 weeks. You've gotten the emails. Those of you that didn't read the email, you need to go back and read the email and say, what was that? What was that about? Did I miss it? Whatever the case might be, and understand that it's important. I'm Al Perhacs, author, creator, visionary behind the Mind Force method of high performance, esoteric training, coaching, mentoring. And if you decide to join one of the Mach system programs, I'll see you on the other side.